We're back. I guess we'll wait on Nameless to hop in the voice channel. In the meantime, that means I can thumb through some of this stuff. While I have a moment, let me get the merged tribe image here so we can have something to look at. Boom. Make that a little smaller. That'll have to do. Alright, did anyone stick around? That's the real question. Yeah, looks like we got a few sticking around. Sweet. Yeah, so just waiting for my co-host here. So we'll give Nameless a minute. I know he was in the mist. Oh, there he is. Hey.
Hey, are you already on stream?
We are on stream.
Oh, wow.
It's a quick turnaround, man. Thoughts on Furballers versus IST?
I mean, it's pretty much as expected, except the one game.
That was so ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I don't know what happened, but 12 freaking caps. It's insane.
Well, I left. Like, I mean, I was doing some other stuff, and then I come back and I see, like, I forget what it was, like a 10, was it 10-2 or something?
Yep.
9-2?
Yep. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so that was pretty crazy.
Okay. I guess maybe a recap of last episode. Double Tribal, Ball of Fame and Burt both go.
Wait, which one's it? This is episode 6?
This is 7 we're starting with.
Okay, but the double was 6?
Yep.
Okay.
So, I know it's been a while, so I'm going to refresh everyone's memories here. I was super upset that ASAP wasn't the target there. So coming into this episode, I think we're gonna get some reasoning as to why ASAP was not the answer for Spheroid and why Burt went. And he's gonna have to convince me that was the right move. We'll get an answer on that later on. I don't want to spoil it, although I assume everyone's watching this has read it, but we'll get there. I guess anything from you going into episode 7 that you were thinking about that you want to recap, or just want to jump straight into it?
I don't even remember episode 6.
That's kind of where I'm at. All right, we'll just go episode 7 then.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the merge, and I put the final members of the merge up on the stream. So the people who made it to the merge, it's Active, ASAP, Bambi, Beast, Blob, Button, D-Rec, Flaccid, Russ, Robiny, Stedman, and Spheroid. So that's 12 if I count, right? Yeah, sure. And so episode 7, we dive into, like I said, the first thing we kind of get a look at is the reaction to ASAP not being the elimination at Spheroid's Tribal. We saw hints of it in the last couple episodes. Robiny and ASAP seem to have become closer. It seemed like Robiny had been drifting away from Spheroid a little bit. We see some more DMs of that, which I think is interesting.
I think the my favorite reaction was beast mode because like well, I mean of course he was shocked that he didn't kill him,
Mm-hmm.
but I liked that he thought about it kind of deeply, like, okay, it's a smart strategy for him not to. Um because I agree with that. I just didn't think of Beast in a way where he's really trying to strategize that much. Um but maybe he does more than I give him credit for. So I don't know. I just thought that his reaction in that was pretty good, and then of course like the whole 69ing. I thought that was funny.
Yep. Nothing else. I think super crazy interactions. Like we know, Russ hints at it. He thinks no one really understands how close he is with both Beast and Steroid. I think that's true.
Yeah,
So he's got something working there potentially.
yeah. Russ looks like he's in a really good position here. Like nobody knows what the hell like his alliances are or where he lies. So he's done a pretty good job slithering in everywhere he can.
We gotta try to work in as many
That's
slithers as we can, if I
that's
can even
right.
say it.
Yeah,
All right. So then everyone else just kind of excited to have made the merge. So nothing crazy there. They come up with a new tribe name, which I'm not going to attempt to pronounce. It's something about Bambi, I think. It's a deer in some language, I think. So nice and fun.
uh, what is it? I don't even. Oh,
It's,
okay, I see it.
yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So reward challenge is an interesting one. Um, it's I don't even know how to describe it. They're trying to kill each other through text messages. It's a little drawn out here, but the end result is that this dead man gets the immunity advantage, which I think we read that Beast and Steroid were giving him that intentionally, which I thought
Yeah,
was, I mean, sounds about right, right?
I kind of gloss over those. It's hard to as like somebody reading like it, the reward and immunity challenges just do not interest me.
Yeah.
But I guess like in a way it's important because like I guess the context of it is what, like you have to stab somebody in chat or something
Mm-hmm.
to take one of their lives away. So you kind of get like an inside look of like who's kind of positioned well enough to where nobody hates them enough to want to take them out.
Yeah, I thought Robney framed it pretty well actually. So the way he describes it is like almost like a Cold War and like a proxy for the vote coming up. And like his quote is, "It's like how can we target Flaccid and Button in this reward challenge without it, without it being obvious that's who everyone wants to target." And I thought that
Yeah,
was an interesting way to look at it. Kind of gets to what you're saying.
yeah. I kind of like how Robity's been thinking.
I agree.
Like is becoming one of my favorites.
All right, and then gosh, another huge paragraph from Steroid.
It's getting
It
ridiculous.
is.
Like
It really is.
this has to stop.
Yeah, and I mean, he's recognizing that ASAP's still around is causing some questions. Blah blah blah. We get to the immunity challenge, and there's some buttons and gates involved. Blah blah blah. And Flaccid Trip wins individual immunity. So now, I thought this was really interesting because now Flaccid has both the individual immunity and he still has an idol that
Yeah,
Button gave him before Button was eliminated.
and only ASAP knows about that. Is that right?
I
Or
believe it only ASAP knows, yeah.
okay,
So to me, like when I see this, like I know Flaccid's been very open about the fact that he's not super friend, like he's willing to turn on ASAP.
yeah. Well, he's being open to the point where it seems a little sus.
Right.
Yeah,
And But we see everyone talking, like all these DMs and confessionals. It's like everyone's like, okay, it's that original Red Tribe. It's Button, ASAP, and FT that everyone's kind of looking to knock out. And it doesn't seem like it's in his interest to let ASAP die here, or even Button, to me. And so my thinking is he's got an opportunity to do something interesting with his two immunities here.
Yeah, he could.
So
Yeah, he definitely has a chance at making some sort of crazy play if he wants to.
yeah, so we'll get to the actual tribal discussion. So you have your kind of, I don't know if power three is the right word, but it's Spheroid, Beast, and Steadman kind of all discussing about how they want to set this vote up. The initial reaction is like, okay, we're going to try to split it between Button and ASAP here.
Yep.
A lot of discussion about that, but that seems, as we go down these confessionals, that's kind of what we've landed on, is we're trying to split Button and ASAP, and whichever one's not protected is the one that goes home, kind of thing. And again, it's the three Red Tribe members just kind of in everyone's sights right now.
Yeah, no, like I guess it's kind of hard for me because this is one of the ones I read a few days back, so I'm not even. I tried skimming through it, but was there like a clear idea of who's voting for who? Like I guess Robiny and Stedman are supposed to be voting ASAP here. Is that right?
Yeah, they end up. You can scroll down the episode. They post that split plan. So yeah, so to your point, Bambi's going Button, Robiny, Spheroid, Steadman, and Active are supposed to be going ASAP, and then Beast Mode, Direct, Blob, and Russ are supposed to be going Button. So that ends up with a
Yeah, I
four.
see it.
Yeah, that's a 4-4 split. It looks like, if I'm reading right, or is that 5? That's 5.
That's 5.
Yep, 5.
5 on Button. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And then they're assuming, I think rightly, that it's ASAP, Button, and Flaccid are kind of have that common interest with each other. So they're obviously not clued in on this, even with how upfront Flaccid's been about trying to knock ASAP out. So that's the split plan going into this. There's an interesting DM, and it might be more for entertainment purposes here. But we saw Robin kind of move into ASAP's corner last episode, and he said it again at the top. He says again, like halfway through this episode, like during these immediate tribal discussions, he's like he wants to keep ASAP alive, which is super intriguing to me. And we see a DM from him to ASAP trying to implicate that maybe there's a move to be made. I don't remember what color Kintara is. I think that's maybe Spheroid's original tribe. But potentially making a case here that could be an option for Robiny to flip and make a move. So I thought that was intriguing.
And I actually like that for Robiny too, because I think, I mean, you don't believe it, but like ASAP being in is probably good for Robiny. So I kind of like where he's headed with it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is where we get confirmation. I think I mentioned it a little early, but Button does say he's sending his idol to Flaccid, so Flaccid does have those two advantages.
Yeah.
And then Spheroid, I think, feels fairly comfortable coming into this tribal. Again, it's another long message from him, but he was very confident about the split going into this tribal. Even with the idol out there, he's fairly confident on how this tribal is going to turn out. So without further ado, we can go into the vote. We'll note here that Flaccid plays a fire coin on ASAP. ASAP plays one on himself. Button also plays one on ASAP, so that's 3 votes for ASAP that do not count for this vote. Active goes ahead and uses the 2. One he got. I'm trying to remember who he got his other one from, because it wasn't from Rena. I don't remember, but he has two that he plays for himself. ASAP, the first three votes of this tribal do not count, and then votes come through button, spheroid, and then button to finish it, and it ends up being button eliminated. But the split non-existent. It looks like
Yeah.
did not go according to spheroid's plan, and like his instant reaction is like, "What just happened?" You know, which is great, and it's like I'm interested to see, and we'll see it in episode 8, but like what happened there, and like the spheroid, like we had this image of him the past like 2 or 3 episodes, just running these tribals. Now it seems like maybe his hold on tribals is starting to get a little shaky, perhaps. So I thought
Yeah,
that
he
was
has
interesting too.
like the outcome of this vote has to have him pretty scared, and like he should basically be reevaluating everything like in his game, I think. Um, Figuring out like who he needs to cut from his own side in order to stay stronger.
Yeah, an interesting comment from Budden in his final words. He's questioning whether when ASAP convinced him to give Flaccid the idol, if he knew Flaccid wasn't going to save him with it. But I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because you think ASAP would want to keep Budden around. I would think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so maybe a mistake. Like, and maybe we'll see it in episode 8. I don't remember, but maybe I wonder if ASAP even tried to convince Flaccid, or Flaccid, like it wasn't even a question for Flaccid. There's no way I'm trying to save Button because I'm really not that tied to ASAP anyway. Um, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's kind of it is interesting. But like this whole thing could have easily been um avoided if Button just played his
Yeah,
idol instead of
yeah,
giving it away.
yeah. Well, so I mean, to your point, what is the reasoning behind giving away your idol like that? I don't, because if
I don't
Button keeps
know.
the idol, they played the fire coins perfectly. It would have been Spheroid going home if Button just had the idol and played it. And I don't like. Does Flaccid think it's so important to have Spheroid around that he doesn't want that to happen? I don't know. It was an interesting decision to not play it for Button, regardless either him or either Button or Flaccid.
I mean, Flaccid also might be thinking, okay, well, um, I might want ASAP here, but I don't want Button here
Mm-hmm.
since clearly uh, Button Button even said himself that he's fine with letting ASAP say that they should do whatever,
Yeah,
and basically let him take charge of his game. So
it's very
I don't
interesting.
know. It
So
is interesting.
Flaccid does say in chat that as soon as he gets that idol, he's thinking new alliances for himself,
Yeah.
which to me is such a big. Like I guess they're saying Button was going to be AFK that evening, and that's part of the reasoning why. But it feels
Okay.
like it
That's
feels like ASAP such a misread on what Flaccid is to him. You know, like to like if I'm ASAP, like if I have any doubts about Flaccid not being with me, like that idol goes to myself, not to Flaccid, right? It's
yeah.
interesting
I mean, I don't know. It is weird. It's
because the way
it's
Button
pretty
phrased it,
weird.
it's like ASAP told me to give it to Flaccid. Is kind of how he phrased it,
Yeah,
and
that's what
it's
I
like why
thought.
would
I was
ASAP?
gonna scroll back and see for sure because
It,
I thought I remembered seeing that.
yeah, it's like
Um,
I'm confused why ASAP doesn't get that idol for himself. I mean, and maybe he just like has so much trust in Flaccid, but as soon as Flaccid doesn't play it for Button, you gotta think ASAP's like, what's going on here, you know?
well, at this point, like ASAP has to be questioning like if he has anything left in the tank to even last another round. So,
You know,
um, yeah, I would be worried about Flaccid. Like, I mean, if ASAP is counting on Button and Flaccid as like his trio, then I mean, Button's gone and Flaccid voted for Button, so the trio is no longer for sure.
yeah. All right, so we can move into. Well, I guess before we move to episode 8, favorite moment from episode 7.
Oh
I'm
gosh.
gonna give you. I know you kind of mentioned it. I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
steal it
got it.
from you. I'm gonna take Robin. Just his one confessional. Um, really towards the top, discussing his relationship with ASAP. I love this side of Robin that we're seeing. To your point.
Yeah.
So to me, I really enjoyed that. It's kind of been indicative of how he's really been playing the game the last few episodes. So yeah, that was definitely my moment.
Yeah. My favorite moment is probably a Darsh asking ASAP if Button has an advantage. It's like saying, dude, he's been acting like he does. And it seems like he's the only one that has no idea like
Yeah,
what
I
is
think you're right
happening.
because
Like
it's open
he's
knowledge
just
at this point.
yeah, he's just starting to play now because Rena's gone.
Yeah,
So he's got a lot of catching up to do.
that's right.
Well, that and then in addition to that, playing the two fire coins on himself,
Yeah,
and there's just
no
nothing.
votes.
Like,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
uh,
All
yeah,
right,
that's really good.
episode 8. We start off with I think what we expect, another huge spheroid confessional. A lot going on here. Essentially, the swap didn't go the way he thought it would go. His name showed up, which was a huge surprise for him. And then we get a little Sherlock Steroid Holmes to close that out. And nice way to end that confessional, I think. So ASAP, and this is so strange. Well, I don't know about strange, but like he, he phrases. So the way he talks about FT getting that idol from Button, um, he frames it as they were joking about voting Button off and just keeping the idol for themselves. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize how seriously Flaccid took that idea." Um, it feels like ASAP's being so much more forgiving than you would expect. And it's just one confessional, so maybe he doesn't actually feel super comfortable with Flaccid, but it was a maybe it's a I have to trust him because he's really the only one I can trust at this point. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, ASAP put himself in a really bad position because he wanted to like kind of lay back and let other people take the charge, so he couldn't be commanding everything. And at the same time, like he kind of flip flops on that strategy, and it just like I don't know, it just makes his game really questionable right now. Um, because you're used to him kind of like dictating everything or like having his hands everywhere, but he didn't really do that this time around. So it's like his connections aren't that deep.
You know.
He's like heavily reliant on just a couple people, and it's just like the numbers just aren't going that way. Like even though he's not like this huge threat, he's gonna still be seen as the threat. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean he doesn't really have any choice except to trust Flaccid. I mean
Yeah.
that's his number one at this point, really.
Yeah. And I do love how immediately after we get the Flaccid confessional, and he's like, "Why either of them thought they should give me that idol, I truly don't understand." And it's like, oh my gosh, we're like reading that. It's like ASAP is doomed, you know? Oh man. So we get some DMs between Flaccid and ASAP. Um, Interesting confessional from Robiny after those DMs. Let me see here. It was. I'm trying to find his words. Yeah, so we saw him. We've talked about it. We saw Robney kind of walk over to the ASAP corner a little bit. Now he's saying ASAP never told Robney or Stedman about their plan to use those 3 fire coins on ASAP, and now it's like it's pushing Robney back into Steroid's arms a little bit, which I thought was an interesting confessional from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
Um,
making too much of it, but it was like we got like a bunch in a row of just like, oh, ASAP's my guy. I'm trying to sneak him through these votes, and then now it's like, well, I don't know about this ASAP guy now. You know?
yeah,
Um,
I mean I think it was more like indicative of like how crazy Tribal could be. Like talking about the 10 minutes before the deadline, getting pulled into a group call, and uh, I remember that all too well, like
You know,
multiple times when I've played. And like at that point, like you're not, you have an idea of what's happening or what should happen, and then things just change, and you can't really, you don't know if you could justify doing a certain thing, but then you can't, you have to like play it to the point where you could explain your vote and still try and keep connections that you have. So,
you know.
it's interesting.
So
But I do like how he's like Flaccid Trip is just such a loose cannon.
you know, we kind of get a similar. I don't think he's talking about Flaccid, but a similar message from Steadman. He's like, I can't work with such a messy player, and I think he's talking about ASAP here.
Yeah.
Um, Beast. I'm trying to understand the numbers. It's like who's leaking who's flipping to what, West Coast tournament rage, blah 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 blah. Um, so he's talking about how he's got to get on the same page with Spheroid and try to explain away the fact that they tried to kick him, vote him out. Um, Actives confessional. I don't think I find anything interesting in. So unless you've got something, we'll move on to the reward challenge.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I guess not. I mean, I like the Darsh quip that the vote count was super fishy. Like, it's just, I don't know. He's still cracking me up with like his stuff. So
You think he's just like he's so totally out of it? That's what's
no,
funny
I
to
think
you,
I think it's well, it's funny because like he was totally out of it, and now he's like, oh shit, I have to do something.
right?
So
Yeah.
it's like him trying to play catch up, and it's just pretty funny.
All right. Good. Reward challenge. Some sort of emoji charades thing. Gosh, just
Yeah.
these confessionals are so long, man. um, so I think the
It's not
gist
just
of
it's the screenshots too. Like he's got page long confessionals, and then there's a million
yeah,
screenshots.
that whole thing is like a page and a half. It's wild, dude. Yeah. So the spheroid. I think the gist of all of that is he gets on a call with Beast, and I think is fairly assured that Beast was just kind of being stupid, more so than like blatantly trying to take him out. Robiny confesses that he was trying to blatantly vote him out. I think is how I'm reading this. Um, so Cyril trying to use that confession as a way to guilt him back into his corner, like 100%. Um, yeah, I guess when Steroid said it was going to take Steroid Holmes to figure out what went on, he wasn't lying. A lot of investigation here.
But it seems like a lot of time wasted with it because if I'm Steroid right there, like yeah, you want to know what happened, but at the same time, like you have to reevaluate everything. Like why did they vote the way they did? Like so he could have found out like the whole Stedman Robney thing, and like Sted or Robney feeling like he wants to keep ASAP around, and he could use that because right now like Spheroid has to feel exposed.
you know,
And if he feels exposed, he needs ASAP around because you need some sort of boogeyman. Otherwise, you become the boogeyman.
sure.
And so, like, I think he should be trying to figure something out there, like why didn't people want to write down ASAP's name, and can he use it?
Yeah,
So
so you're saying more less so why did my name come up and it was why didn't ASAP's come up more essentially is what you're saying.
yeah,
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 yeah, I
because
like
like his
that.
name only came up twice,
Yeah,
So
yeah, I like
um,
that.
and of course, like he, it could have gone way worse, but yeah, that's just how it goes.
Yeah,
And he could use the he could use the whole thing to kind of switch his game up. Um, because he should be questioning all of his alliances at this point, like every single person.
True.
Um, I don't know if it was like maybe it wasn't this one. I don't know which episode it was, but he talked about like having all these routes to get to the end or something. Uh, but yeah, I don't know if that's true. That might be the next episode actually. I
Right.
don't I don't know. But yeah, I would be like reevaluating everything. I think he has to take a hard look at where things stand. But I absolutely love that Robert says that it was a fake screenshot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But then
Instantly
fesses up
cares.
to
Yeah,
it.
it's so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Little something from Steadman saying maybe take a break from the ASAP thing, because I think we're down to essentially so it's ASAP and Flaccid are the remaining Red Tribe members, and then we're just on blue and greens left essentially, or maybe greens and yellows. I don't quite remember. But Steadman may be thinking that they try to thin that other tribe that's relatively intact. So maybe something to keep an eye on as we go into Tribal.
Yeah.
So the immunity challenge, they have to split into two groups here. They do that, and I guess they're solving some sort of word puzzle with these gates. They're like trying to make them illuminate in a certain way, and a message appears. Blah blah blah. Whichever team solves it quicker moves on to the next phase, which is TagPro Racing, and the winner of that phase wins individual immunity. Adarsh picks up the immunity, which I guess is nice for him to have. I don't know. It's not terribly interesting to me that he wins it. It's like um, I don't know how much danger he was in anyway, right? So it's like
Yeah.
it's nice to have for him. For the episode, it doesn't do a lot for me entertainment wise, at least off the bat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I would have liked, I don't know, maybe like we see ASAP win it or someone like that, but instead it's Adarsh taking it home. We get a bunch of messages now. ASAP seems to be the target according to DREC. Da 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 da. Russ continues, and I love this, continuing the West Coast tournament revenge theme. He wants to go ASAP, so we're getting a lot of ASAP here.
Yeah.
Which I guess expected, I think, at this point. Especially not, I mean, especially with we know how Flaccid feels about him. It's like, who's his friend at this point? And the answer is really no one.
I
Um,
think I think with Russ's confessional here, well, actually, going back to Stedman when he talks about backing away from ASAP and going
mm-hmm.
for Blob or Bambi, but then we see Russ's confessional say that Beast calls, says he wants Blob or Bambi. So I think that's like, I mean, we know that Stedman and Beast are kind of talking too,
Mm-hmm.
but like I think that kind of shows something that we're not seeing, like how much Stedman is working with Beast Mode there, maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
Um, because they have like it's the same thing, and now it's getting to Russ about it. So I don't know, just an interesting note there, for me.
Yeah, and Russ even kind of, I say hints at it. Like, he even says it at the end of his confessional. He's like, I might need to back off Beast instead a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
And then that DMs is like, you can see kind of Stead not really wanting to make another move at Steroid through Blob or Bambi. It's like he's not willing to commit to it, and Russ obviously gets that sense, or vice versa. I think he wanted to go Blob or Bambi, right?
yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Another Beast confessional. I don't think anything too interesting there. He's seemingly also fine with ASAP being the one that gets the boot. We get some insight between Beast and Steadman saying that Spheroid would be okay going ASAP here, and then kind of making an agreement to go Blob in the next Tribal. And then obviously we know that that would fly just fine with Russ, right? He wants
Yeah.
ASAP out, so seems like that's all good there. Spheroid again, also fine with ASAP, like we said. And then ASAP, we just get a lot of ASAP DMs just like trying to save himself, is how it seems, which I thought was fun. Especially him and Bambi.
I mean, before all this though,
Yeah.
like so Spheroid's talking about like I guess he's not even really saying much, except that he wants ASAP out of the picture, which is
Mm-hmm.
I think a really bad misplay. Um, I already said why, but like
Mm-hmm.
like I think he should be using this time to talk to ASAP and try and like see if there's something there, or at least see if he's worth saving.
Well, do you think,
Um,
like, did you think it's like even if he was thinking that way, like, does he have the capacity to save ASAP right now?
and you have the merge with D-Rec and Blob. He's got Bambi, Robiny, Stedman. I mean, Robiny and Stedman have already not wrote ASAP's name down, so
Yeah.
it already seems like there's the potential there. Beast is talking about Bambi or Blob. So yeah, I think what he could do is use that and create some goodwill with ASAP. Say, hey, I want to keep you around for a bit. I think it's good for me. And honestly, like even though we've kind of opposed each other, I think it would be good for both of our games to work together here. Which like I think if he brought that to ASAP, like ASAP would eat it up.
Yeah.
Um, because like he doesn't have a lot of options. It's strategically a good partnership to have. If he could trust it. Now, whether he can or not, he gets as paranoid as I do. So,
Right.
um, I mean, that's the question. But like, he's at a point where I think he would seriously consider that and want to work with him. So I think it was a big misplay by Spheroid. Like he should have gone down that road and like, and if he does, he could probably communicate with Bambi, and then Bambi and ASAP are at least decent, or whatever. Like there's so many ways that he could have pitched it, um, that could have allowed him to claim the credit of saving ASAP to keep ASAP alive and build that partnership, while also having like his Bambi and D-Rec and whoever still there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, it sounds good from our outside view here, but how the dynamics were at the time, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we see between them, it seems like Steroid's already made up his mind. It's like he's just telling ASAP, you really just kind of screwed yourself, essentially. So who knows what the conversation was before that, but I mean, the DMs that we get to see, it seems like it's kind of settled. We do get
Yeah,
a confessional from ASAP with, so we talked about it last stream, but it's that word puzzle with the authors of the maps for the reward and the immunity challenges. So we're getting um, a fair amount of letters now. We see some anagrams from ASAP. So potentially, maybe ASAP secures an advantage prior to this vote. We don't know for sure. That's the last message before we get the tribal.
yeah.
Um, but fun little note there at the end. All right, so we get the tribal. Um, I don't know what this message is from ASAP, and there's like an invoice list. I don't even know what's going on there. Uh, I guess that's who he's using his supposed winnings on. Um, and then we'll go ahead and get to the vote. So a lot of like off the bat. So first three votes are for three different people: ASAP, Blob, and Spheroid. So like off the bat, it's like what's going on? The picture was painted. It seemed like fairly clearly it was ASAP. We get another ASAP vote, another flaccid vote, and then finally ASAP is eliminated. Um, Yeah, I mean, kind of what we expected based on the stuff we got before, right? Uh,
Yep.
and to your point, does this end up hurting Spheroid eventually? I guess we'll find out. But it was Blob self voting, which always confuses me. So that's the reason his name showed up. Spheroid went flaccid. I assume that's to prevent the stray in case there was an idol, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, nothing crazy there. ASAP goes home, and I'm like 2 episodes. I was screaming about how stupid it was to keep ASAP in, and then suddenly he's gone, and all that means nothing. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think yeah, I think this is bad for Spheroid. Um it's worse for Spheroid than anyone else
does
because now
this? Do you think
it does.
Button, or excuse me, do you think Flaccid? Like, I mean, this really hurts him too. I know he votes for ASAP, but don't you think this hurts Flaccid a lot too?
He's been telling everybody he wanted ASAP out. Like,
I know, but like, who? It's like, who has he really made connections with by saying that? It seems like not really anyone. Like, am I crazy in saying that? Like, he's been saying he wants ASAP out, and now that he's got ASAP out, it's like I think everyone's like, okay, cool. But like, what does it really mean for him? I don't know.
curious if like I don't know. I don't know from like an editing standpoint, like what all is included, like what the story is that Steroid wants to tell here, besides insanely long confessionals of his. But like, I mean, Flaccid has to have more going on than what he does. What it seems like. Like, he's got to be in with Derek, maybe Russ. I mean, I would think Stedman because like he was Stedman's captain before.
Yep.
Like he's got to have these ties that we're not seeing. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's bad for Flaccid. I don't freaking know. Uh, I think it's bad for Spheroid because like from what we see, like Spheroid has to be like the next big target, right? Like,
Yeah, like to your point, calling ASAP the boogeyman. Like, do you
yeah.
think steroids that's a boogeyman for everyone?
I think so because even though like he was confused on like the split, like people are still gonna think, well, he has Bambi, he's got Blob and
Mm-hmm.
Derek and Robiny. Like whether that's true or not, like that's the narrative that people are gonna be able to sell. Like it makes it easy to like at least put his name out there, and that's not what you want. You always want to try and create like a bigger threat, somebody that people could get behind, like being scared of. So,
All right. ASAP on his way out points out that there is those anagrams based on the map authors. So he wasn't able to figure it out in time, but maybe someone will, and everyone now knows about that. And
no.
we'll end episode 8 on our favorite episode moment. I went first last time, so why don't you kick it off?
Uh, I guess the favorite has to be the whole Spheroid asking Robiny if it was a fake screenshot, and,
Yeah.
and Robiny just saying yes, and then Spheroid going on a long rant about whether that's true or not, and then and then Robiny's like, "Here, I'd rather own this up in a voice call." Like,
Yeah, no,
uh,
I kind of just like, I don't know why, but just ASAP putting that expenses spreadsheet together, like taking time to actually put that together. That's just that's funny to me. So, all
yeah,
right,
I'm actually this vote actually bums me out because like having ASAP's personality in is
yeah,
huge for like the whole thing. So like little things like that actually I think it increases the enjoyment. So it's gonna be sad to see him gone.
yeah. I mean, that's a good point actually, because it's like now that ASAP's gone, like your two big personalities, quote unquote, like it's Spheroid, who's more
And
so
we're
just
already
a
sick of him.
right,
Yeah,
and
like
then Beast would say, I'd say is the other one. As
yeah,
far as personalities go. But yeah, you're right. It's a big loss because you got a bunch like Blob and Bambi. I mean, Bambi can be funny, but yeah, you're right. We do lose something entertainment wise for sure. All right, episode 9. So Robiny, and maybe I think we skipped over this. So top of this episode 9, Robiny talks about how Steadman let him know that he had an extra vote advantage, and I think that may have been in episode 7 or 8. We skipped over it. I think it was after
Yeah.
the reward challenge where they got a clue for the beach, like searching the beach. So Steadman did find an extra vote. So we do get confirmation that Robiny knows about that now, and again now we're seeing Robiny playing a little more strategic, right?
Yeah.
He's not letting Spheroid know that he knows that. Um, and yeah, I really like it. It's like he's going back to Spheroid, but he's not all the way there. It's like he's trying to keep himself apart a little bit, which I think I like.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it seems like him and Stedman are much more attached.
yeah,
Um, which is interesting. Like never, I don't know.
you wouldn't
Wouldn't
have put
have
those two together.
I wouldn't have predicted that at the beginning of the season, no.
Yeah,
But it's easy to talk to Stedman. And like Robiny in Survivor is pretty pleasant and easy to talk to too. So I guess it makes sense. But I just wouldn't have predicted that.
yeah. Good clarification from Stead. So that this is the first time we see it talked about in episode 9. So we did not miss it, fortunately.
Okay.
All right, good. And so now Steadman, looking at the schedule, he says there has to be double boot coming, which we've seen. We've seen 2 double tribals already. And let me update the eliminated list while I'm here. Episode 7 was Button. Episode 8 was ASAP. Okay. Yeah, so double tribal is what Steadman's assuming.
You're gonna need to have like a thing for the jury.
Oh Lord, you're right. Okay,
So
that'll be next
who's on the
episode.
jury? Is it Bert?
Bert was a start, so I have one after
Okay.
Bert. It's Bert, Button, and ASAP currently.
Interesting.
Yep. Okay, so
All
Beast commenting on ASAP being gone, which he's thrilled with, obviously. So we caught hints of it right in the last episode. He wants to go D-Rec or Blob.
Yeah.
He's also maybe wants Bambi gone here. So some of the alternative names we saw in episode 8 are starting they're resurfacing here. We get a confessional from Russ. And this is where I kind of like, is FT screwed here? Like, and Russ is talking about maybe Flaccid becoming like a beast mode Rust guy, and Russ isn't quite sure whether that's going to happen or not. So,
it might be working in his favor too, because like if you don't know where somebody is, like I guess it makes you a little weary of them, but is it weary or wary? You ask that before?
I did. It's wary in this case.
It's
yeah.
wary. Okay. Oh, a little wary. Yeah. It might make people that like that with him because you won't know like what corner he's in. Like he might just be switching like each round. So, but at the same time, you kind of want to go after your enemies, like the people that you know aren't with you. So, so it is interesting. I don't hate where he is though, because like he's not like ASAP. Like he's not like he doesn't have like the same villain or like I don't know type of persona that ASAP has in Survivor. So like I don't think your ASAP's gone and Flaccid's like a top target. I don't think you have that.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if everybody knew about the idol, then maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But it seems like no one knows.
Yeah.
So I think everyone assumes Button just went home with it.
Yeah.
And ASAP didn't say anything about it when he was eliminated. So yeah.
Well, he also like pointed out the map author clue or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So people might be thinking, okay, well, there's an idol right there. We
True.
just got to find it.
True. Um, this is it's classic spheroid edit here. So he's passing this off, contrary to how you feel about it. He's like, it's a unanimous vote against ASAP that I orchestrated.
Yeah.
And he's back to like being in the saddle, I guess, from his point of view. And so he's talking about this plan. He's selling to Steadman and Robney about selling off some of those inactive guys. So like the Blobs and I assume D-Rec active Bambi is kind of what he's hinting at here. So he's saying that's what he's pitching to people, not necessarily what he wants to do. And I think this is what you were referencing, him referencing all his routes to the end. This is where that comes up.
Yeah,
He says he's playing a really good
thing.
social game right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is he actually? I guess I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to look further. But is he actually proposing? Wait, he did say the plan I sold to Sedman and Robiny
Yeah.
was the inactives,
Yes.
and the inactives at this point, Direk, Bob. Is that it?
Well, so he's
Active.
saying that final five he's selling to them is Beast
Well,
Mode,
yeah.
Stead, Robin, Spheroid, Russ. So it's everyone else, right? So that's Bambi, that's Active, D-Rec, Blob. And I think that gets us to the
Well,
amount of
that's
people.
4 players. That's 4 players right there.
Yeah.
5 with Spheroid. Like what? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Like I get like going along with those plans. Like I wouldn't try and sell it to him because I mean Spheroid should be in with them.
Yeah.
I mean he was pretty close. Like during the last season, he was pretty close with D-Rec and Blob and me. Like he was always in the chats. Like getting information for the edit and whatnot. So like he also captained them numerous times. They're
Mm-hmm.
OPHers. Like he uh he has an in with them. There's no reason to go for them. Like if somebody else is pitching that idea, or like he should probably maybe get them to pitch that idea and kind of use that to corral them together and have his army of inactive lackeys, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's even like when I think it was during the fly vote and stuff like that, when they were still in those 2 or 4 tribes. Like that was kind of how Spheroid was playing it. It's like I've got all these people that are gonna do what I want because they're not really around, and that's how
Yeah.
he's framing it earlier in the season. And yeah, to your point, that seems like the way to go, right? So and I know Spheroid's chatting right now. He does mention at the end of the confessional that that's probably not what he wants to actually do. Um, to your point, he's still pitching it though,
Yeah.
and that can spread around whether
You're
people
giving
believe
people
it or not.
screenshots.
Yeah, uh,
Like, what you want to do is provide the screenshots to other people. Like, get somebody else to say that stuff and bring it up. You know what I mean? Like,
you know,
that way you could bring those screenshots to other people and be like, look, this is what they're saying. Like, how are you feeling? Who are you close with? Like, get them to open up, make them scared of other people, and make yourself be that safe haven, you know?
you know. All right, so
So,
we can move into the immunity challenge. So this was interesting how it worked out. So they
This
ask,
this actually looks cool. Like I actually read through this and I
yeah,
wish that it was a challenge I could have done.
yeah. So they split everyone into individual cells, we'll call them. And there's a top row 5 and a bottom row 5. After everyone gets into their own cell, Sadness reveals that it is going to be a split tribal, and you'll be competing with the people in your row. So our top row consists of D-Rec, Spheroid, Bambi, Russ, and Beast Mode. And then on the bottom row, you've got Steadman, Robiny, Active Blob, and Flaccid Trip. So instantly, we see during the description of the challenge, we see Beast Mode's like asking people to throw for him because like the split for him seems like really horrible. Like you see, we know Russ has been chatty with Spheroid. I think everyone assumes Direk and Bambi are in Spheroid's camp. So for beast mode, this is like worst case scenario to him. I think like his split ends up really bad for him.
Yeah.
And then the bottom row is a little more interesting. Like we know Stead and Robiny are pretty tight. Active has ties to them, so you kind of figure whoever, if it's not one of them getting them, like I think they probably run the outcome on that bottom row is how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we go through this. It's a gravity well in each center of the cage, and then I think as those buttons get pressed, it gets a little smaller, right? So you got to manage your rotation around the gravity well better. It ends up being that Flaccid Trip and Blob are the remaining in their row. They agree because it's been going on for, and I don't know if this is true. It's 45 minutes, which is insane. But so Flaccid and Blob agree to each reverse, and whoever dies first, and whatever. Um, Flaccid completely lies to Blob, doesn't try to reverse. Blob does and dies. So Flaccid Trip wins immunity for himself. This is, I think, his not his second straight, but he's won 2 out of 3 recently, so he's on a nice little run for himself. On the other side, Spheroid is able to persuade Bambi that he should give Spheroid the win. Bambi does drop out, and then Spheroid wins immunity on that top side. So Spheroid and Flaccid Trip get immunity for this tribal.
Yeah, and Blob is an idiot.
Yes, which I think we've kind of gathered at this point. And supposedly, like I think episode 3, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be an idiot on purpose."
Yeah.
I don't know. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so interesting. I guess maybe interest. Like we know Spheroid's a little concerned, but at the top of this episode, he's like, his messages are like, "Oh, I'm back in control." But now that it's a chance for immunity, it's like worried again. He's like begging Robiny to give him the win. I don't know. It's like bouncing back and forth on whether he feels secure or not. It's interesting.
Telling Robiny to type the message to Bambi.
Yeah.
And then Bambi's still not doing it. Like nothing happens for 5 minutes.
uh,
And then it decides to leave. That's funny.
all
Oh
right.
man.
Good. So they take home the immunities, and now we've got two tribals. We get some stuff about Soupy, and I don't really understand the reference. I'll be honest with you. It's something related to the NFL draft that Flaccid's going to. I think. Um, they really like the reference in the Survivor channel. I didn't really quite keep up with what was going on there. So if anyone in chat wants to clarify, go ahead. Um, yeah, we kind of see like we talked about for that active Blob Robin Steadman group here. Active kind of says it straight up. It's like, yeah, I've got Robin and Steadman here. Now that Flash is immune, it's like, yeah, we kind of just run the vote here, and it's Blob's the obvious target here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's natural. A huge immunity win for Flaccid, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Huge.
imagine if Blob wins, and
Yeah, I mean
then what happens? Like Flaccid plays his idol, surely,
yeah, and
and then
then
it's one of Stedman, Robiny, or Active.
yeah, which is such a huge That's such a that actually would have been so sick, dude. Just to see how that would turn out.
They would probably all three vote Flaccid, and then Flaccid has his pick, and like nobody knows about the idol. There's no suspicion.
Yeah, so I
So
wonder
like,
if that happened. I'm curious, who would you go as Flaccid? Like, who do you think is your vote in that case?
oh my gosh,
It's
that
hard
is
to
a
know without
really
knowing
good
everything going
question.
on, right?
Well, yeah. And if I'm Flaccid, I think Stedman, like that pre-existing relationship, could be good to use. But also, like, if you want to make a move and take somebody that's a threat, like out, like Stedman is a threat to win the game. Like if he
Yep.
gets to the jury, so he might want to do that. Because like if you're playing an idol, you want it to be meaningful.
Yep.
And like taking out Active or Robiny doesn't seem like a big move.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, especially Robney, like we've seen a lot from him in confessionals. It doesn't seem like publicly he's got this reputation. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. I think Studman's like the obvious big player vote, I guess, is the way I put
But
it.
at the same time, like I guess what I would do if I were Flaccid in that situation is I would talk to Stedman and I would just be honest with him. I would say, "Hey, this is what I'm gonna do.
Hmm.
I have to play this idol. Like, don't try and talk me out of it. But I wanted to let you know, and like I don't want to vote you. But do you have a preference of who I vote between Active or you know Robiny?"
Yeah.
And like that way you kind of bring him in, and then by extension one of the other two, so it might open up the game for him like if that happened,
Yeah.
but it doesn't happen, so it doesn't matter.
That's right. And so, again, it seems like everyone is like, um, Blob is the obvious pick here, and I love this little quote from Steadman. It's like, why does Blob have any semblance of confidence? Why isn't he panicking? And it's like, and he's like, it could be Blob being Blob, or there's more going on. And I'm inclined to think it's just Blob being Blob.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do get a message from Active saying that Blob has a couple fire coins. Blob's proposing Robiny, so there's at least an attempt from Blob to push the vote in a different direction, trying to work with Active to make something happen.
Yeah, I actually like I would like that move for Active.
You think so? Like,
um
cause
I do, because if you take Robiny out, then you have a better chance of getting in with Stedman. Like obviously Stedman and Robiny have to be tighter than Active and Stedman, so
Mhm.
like I don't know. I mean, that might ruin his
That's
relationship
what
with
I'm
Stedman,
thinking,
but
right? Like, if you do that, and with how tight Stead and Robiny are, that seems to ruin that for you, right?
maybe. I mean, Survivor's funny like that. It doesn't always go that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he would have Blob left, and like he already worked with Blob last season, so they have that going. And like basically saving his life there, Blob would be in debt to him,
Yeah.
and then potentially explaining the move to Stedman. Like he could say that he didn't know how close he was to Robiny, but he could explain it off saying, "Well, yeah, I just didn't trust Robiny, and whatever."
Yeah.
Like he did like nobody knows about Stedman and Robiny, it seems.
Yeah.
So I think that move could work for him. I wish he would have done it.
Yep. So to your point,
Not because I want Robiny out. I think Robiny's a very interesting player. It's just like I would like to see him do something.
yeah. So we get into the vote. Robiny, which is Blob's vote, and then the remaining votes do go for Blob. So Active doesn't make the move,
Yeah.
and that's the end of Blob. So all
But
the go ahead.
but also like so active he was under the impression that Blob had like the two
The two fire
um
coins,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Does he actually?
Frankly, I'm not honestly. I'm not quite sure. He doesn't use them, so even if he had them,
Yeah.
right?
And then is he able to transfer it? Like I
So
don't know. I'm still confused on how that works when somebody's voted out.
yeah. So yeah, Spheroid says he had them and didn't play them. Sadness did promise us a coin tracker. I've not seen that yet. So, um, you transfer half your coins to someone upon death, is what Robin's saying. So I guess
Okay.
someone got one coin, potentially. It's not shown in the edit, so we're not entirely sure. But maybe we'll find out later.
All right.
All right. Moving into the second tribal, and we saw it. We saw it in the actual during the actual challenge. Beast mode was really worried because of the split, and then we even saw like we saw Flaccid, and I think Robiny maybe mentioned it during their tribal discussion. They're like, oh, it's so obvious that beast mode is the odd man out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a huge problem for Beast, man. Um, there's a I think Beast recognizes that we get a I don't I don't even know what to say about that first confessional. Um, I guess anything. There's a lot going on here. I don't know if there's anything like. It's more about how like Flaccid's kind of a goon for faking up Blob. We get that from Drek. Everyone's anticipating that Blob's gone on the other side, which they're correct about.
Yeah.
Spheroid knows that Beast tried to, get him out in that vote a couple tribals ago, so he's, I think he's pretty set on trying to get Beast here. He makes a comment about how since Blob is probably gone, that frees up Drek. I think kind of similar to the comment you made about if Active had ended up making a move on Robiny, maybe pushing Steadman closer to him. Maybe similar vibes there, even though
Yeah,
Spheroid's not
maybe.
the one taking Blob out. Same idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if I think like that it's that obvious that Beast would be gone because like he was cool with D-Rack and of course him and Russ. So
Yeah, I mean
I
that's what he
don't know.
says at
Like,
the top, right? He's like,
yeah,
it's not really so foregone. I've got some friends here, is what he said. At least that's what he's trying to say.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I agree with that. Like he doesn't look like he honestly doesn't seem like he's in that bad of a spot to me. But I guess if you think that the block of Spheroid, D-Rack, and Bambi are gonna do whatever, then it looks a little grim. But obviously, like we have, I guess maybe a bigger picture than they did at the time.
yeah, true. Um, so we get Drek here talking about how Spheroid wants Beast, which we know, but there's also a chance Bambi can go, and we assume that's coming from Beast mode. I don't know if Beast says it. I don't think he did. But so Drek mentions his plan for Bambi to go instead of Beast, and we see that from Russ too. So like clearly Beast is getting in those guys' ears and trying to
Yeah,
pitch Bambi to them. Um, and yeah, we just I mean all those DMs kind of back and forth talk about fire coins, potential for who's using what. Is Russ and D-Reich, are they really sold on saving Beast here? Russ is trying to, I think, um, fool Spheroid a little bit in his DMs. Um, I guess some interesting, mental stuff, maybe like trying to these three of like Russ, D-Reich, and Beast trying to convince Spheroid that they're not working together, but they are. Maybe
yeah.
it's hard to get a sense of what's going on, honestly.
My favorite is like Bambi messaging him saying beast mode is not working good.
Yeah. It's so good, man. He did the same thing to ASAP too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so
Oh my
straightforward.
gosh.
It's funny.
It just brings me back to like my DMs with Bambi, like during Survivor, and like none of it was like it was all nonsense.
You know, we do get. I do like this from Bambi too. We get a confessional, and like we saw that Space Invaders Alliance. Gosh, I don't know how many episodes away
Yeah,
that was, but he's like, I just feel so bad for him. He's in the Space Invaders Alliance. I don't want to vote him out. It's fun. It's nice.
yeah. Then
Um,
a long confessional
I
from
know. I'm
Spheroid.
tempted just to keep scrolling, dude.
Yeah,
There's like this thing. He says he's trying to get him to sign something, saying that like I was only saved by the good graces of Steroid, and then and then Steroid's like I'm gonna vote him out anyway. I don't know. Blah 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 blah. So then we get the response confessional from Beast, and so we get the plan A. It's him, D-Rec, and Russ trying to kill Bambi. And then the alternative would be the vote ends up split, and then there'd be a revote, and who knows what happens at a revote, right?
right.
Um, So yeah, I guess any last thoughts before we read off the vote here?
Um, yeah, I guess because like I think Beast called it perfectly. Like, um, he said it's insane how much Spheroid's discounting his game. He doesn't think that he's tighter with Russ than he is.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I agree. And like he kind of like Spheroid started it with this like OPH approach almost like
Mm-hmm.
um whether I mean probably was intentional. Um and he just had Bambi and Robiny, like the Nooper team, and then all the others. So like, but then he has Russ on his alliance in the beginning, and he could have taken him out like a who's definitely a non OPHer,
Mm-hmm.
and and avoided problems later on, which
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. But but yeah, like Russ just slithers his way in everywhere. What can you do?
That's right. Uh, yeah, so we get into the vote. Um, we get this was a really bad episode for like editing errors. By the way, vote one says Robiny. It's actually Bambi. Beast mode vote, and then Bambi, 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 and it's 4-1. Bambi goes home. Bambi voted
Yeah,
for himself.
I know, insane.
Yeah, and I think maybe does he mention it? Yeah, so he mentions it on his way out. I think it's like he just feels so bad about voting Beast out, he doesn't want to do it, so he just votes himself, not realizing that it's not Beast at all. So I thought that was kind of funny, and I love how he's like, it's karma. I betrayed my fellow space invader, and it cost me. Um, yeah, so 4-1 on Bambi, and it's another instance where it's like Spheroid really has no idea what's going on. I mean, this is the second vote in as many episodes it seems like where he's like totally lost control of the tribal.
Yeah.
So if he like he rebounded to feeling confident again, I assume he surely cannot feel confident now, right? I mean, he's
Well,
got to
he's
realize this is
probably
not going the way that he thinks it's supposed to be going.
he's probably melting down at this point because like not only it wasn't just Bambi that's gone, it's Blob gone too, and chances are like he wasn't that attached to him. Um, Clearly, like nobody could rely on Blob as an ally at this point since he's just voting for himself. So, like maybe it's not that big of a blow to him, but at the same time, he's probably thinking like, well, that was a connection I could have used still. So yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. Not looking good for Spheroid here.
Yeah, so I assume next episode we'll get the reaction from Spheroid. We get a little taste of it at the end there, but and I also assume we'll come back and we'll come back into one, like we're not gonna have another double tribal, right? So we're coming back together, and I believe this leaves us with, I'll count quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8 remaining, so we're down to a final 8.
Nice.
Yes. Um, yeah, I'm really curious to see now. And I think Shiroid said he's going to drop it as soon as we're done, so maybe we end the stream early so we can just read it. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see what the reaction from Shiroid is. And then now it's like, okay, so Blob was gone on the other tribal. Bambi gone now. Um, yeah, it's just like Shiroid's got to be super worried, and it's like I don't know who he is there anyone he can trust now? It's almost like he's becoming ASAP, and I
Well,
think we
he's
touched
got
on that.
yeah, he's got to think that he could still trust
Robiny, right?
Derek, Derek to a degree, Robiny, probably Stedman,
Yep.
I guess. I don't know. But like this should open his eyes about Russ, like surely. Um
Well, and well, let me interject quickly on D-Red because I think there's an interesting DM So after Bambi gets eliminated, we see that DM between D-Rec and Spheroid, and he's like, So Spheroid's like, you didn't even try to ask me to vote Bambi, and D-Rec's like, well, I know you're a Bambi and Robiny fan, and so that to me, like, it paints the picture. Well, D-Rec doesn't really care for Robiny either. It's
Yeah.
kind of what that implies to me, and if it comes down to like another one of these situations, like it seems like D-Red's gonna be comfortable letting Robin go, and I mean that's got to continue to make Spheroid like worried, right?
Yeah, but he could also use this to shore up his relationship with Stedman. Like he could show that, say like we got to save Bambi, like, but at the same time you got to create like a bigger villain, and now there's like who's the villain? Like
That's a
who can
good
you
question.
use? And like with ASAP gone, you don't have anyone. Like he's D-Rex close with Beast, so
Mm-hmm.
like you can't paint Beast as a villain, which like I guess arguably he should be like one of the top targets at this point.
Yep.
Like I think Rush should be a top target, but like we're not seeing it. We're not seeing like any big moves that he's making, but like I don't know. I think I would like to think if I were in this, I would see Russ as the biggest threat and want him gone. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why things are happening the way they are, like why people are taking the approaches they are. But
Yeah,
Russ is
it makes for a fun final eight though, for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So I
Russ
guess
is
we'll
sneaky good at this.
yeah,
Like he's still like I think he's the best positioned right now. With no targets on him,
you're
like
saying
right
Russ's.
now. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because there's no target on him at all. Like nobody's bringing up his name. Like
True.
he's in every single part of the remaining um players, like as far as alliances go. Yeah, there's absolutely no target on him.
And maybe not quite to the same degree. I know Russ was your pick to win in previous episodes. Mine, Direct, kind of in the same boat. Maybe not to the same degree. Maybe not as close with Beast as Russ is. But Direct's kind of playing a couple different sides here. It seems like. Like I know
Yeah,
Spheroid's not happy with him, but he's still talking to him. Like Direct's talked to Russ a little bit here. And I
he's
haven't
doing
seen anyone write him down or talk
he's
about him.
doing yeah, he's doing more than he did in the previous season. Like he doesn't seem like he's just there. Like it seems like he's at least plotting and like building relationships.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Favorite episode moment? What do you got?
Oh gosh. Oh, this was a long like there was two tribals. It's hard to say.
Yeah, for me, I just I don't know. Bambi just kills me, dude. I love the Space Invader
Space
karma.
Invaders.
It just kills me every time. I was kind of surprised, like Beast. We didn't see it in his confessionals. I was kind of surprised that like he didn't send Bambi that emoji, to try to guilt him into not voting him or anything like that. No, that would have been fun, but yeah, that's it for me for
I
sure.
think I guess mine is also Bambi related. Like him messaging Beast Mode saying it's not looking good.
yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was really funny to me.
Especially when he ends up getting voted out, right?
He says, I hate to do it. I thought long and hard, but it has to be done. And then he votes for himself.
Yeah. All right. Since we do this every recap, are you still on Russ to win it?
I think so. Like, I don't think anybody looks as good. Like, he's the best positioned, I think.
Yeah. I,
Are you
I
still on D-Rec?
I am, and I mean nothing's convinced me
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah, fair.
So, all right. I guess we'll end it there, and then hopefully Spheroid will drop episode 10 as soon as we end, and we'll have
Well,
something to play.
wait. So let me ask you this
Yeah.
about
Go.
D-Rec.
Yeah.
What do you think like his argument would be with a jury?
Uh, I'm having a hard time with it. I'll be honest with you. Right now, it just seems like the argument is no one's really brought my name up. Like I'm playing a fairly good game to where I've never really been threatened, and
Well,
that ended up. Go ahead.
He coasted. He coasted like in the beginning, like he wasn't ever going to be threatened
Right,
there.
and so that's a right. So to your point, that's the picture his whoever he's facing in the finals can paint is like, well, you didn't do anything, of course not, right? So there's gonna have to be, I think, something in these final. I guess there'll be five tribals or however many left. There's got to be some big move from him to like cement
Yeah.
that status for me. But I think he's gonna have the opportunity to do something, if that makes sense. We'll see if he does or not. Uh, but he's alive and he hasn't been super threatened so far, and I think there's a chance for him to make a move here in the final few episodes to cement his status. Is how
Yeah,
I'll
that's
put it.
fair.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So we'll see what happens. Nameless, thank you for your time as always,
Well, it's been fun.
and we'll end the stream here. So everyone, go check Survivor discussion for the new episode, and I
Are
guess
we
we'll.
are we back on Tuesday or
Depends on the release schedule, I guess. I'll ask Spheroid, see what it looks like, and we'll go
okay?
from there.
Sounds good.
All right, see you, man.
All right, see ya.
All right, stream. See you next time, dude.